right, everybody, what's going on? Thanks for joining us. Welcome to this week's episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bodkin.
And I'm Quaysie Maule.
All right, so let's hop into it. We have 5v5, we have Cohen, and of course, we have the women's divisions 1, 2, and 3. So let's kick it off with women's 3.
Yeah.
So looking at women's 3 here. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, just get games from last week. We have.
So looking at women's 3, I only had 2 games. Spartans and Lioness versus, and then Lehebo versus CCL.
Dynamics.
Yeah. So my game of the week, something that's kind of was interesting I was looking at was Lioness scored a touchdown. And
they made it close.
Yeah, their defense played pretty well, I thought Spartans was probably one of the top teams. Last week, they ended up playing the Hebrew. They tied them 31-31, So the fact that they were able to limit them to only 14 points it's pretty good. It's a step up.
100%. Listen, these ladies, speaking of the Lioness, these ladies were up 6-0 at halftime. Okay, they didn't score in the second half. They scored 14-6, but again, you look at this Lioness team, right? We talked about it the last couple of weeks here on the podcast. They've been getting skunked a little bit, right? I mean, they lost 32-6, 45-6, 38-0, 27-0. So this is the first touchdown that Lioness have gotten since January 10th, right? So it's a long time coming for them. So congrats to those ladies. Like you said, slow steps to getting better. One player here or there, they could have got their first W of the season. So congrats to those ladies on showing some improvement and just getting better on the football field, right? So hopefully they have a big game coming up. They have to bye this week, but the week after they're playing She Sparks in Laval. So use this week, ladies. Obviously get some practices in, get more chemistry, get more timing down, and hopefully all y'all can get that first W against She Sparks on March 1st.
Yeah. Good. Going.
So hold on. So I'll say because I had a chance to watch that Hebrew and Dynamics game.
Okay.
I scored keeping Saint Laurent. Yeah, that game was a blowout. 48 decisions you can see. I mean, Dynamics. They're a deep squad. Like I was watching the warm-ups. I think there's about at least like 11 to 12 ladies on that team. They have good organized stretching all together in that. They couldn't make enough plays and they turned over the ball too many times. Dorian Wabiro, 18-26, 318 yards and 7 touchdown passes. Eleanor Lacasse, 175 yards on 7 catches for 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty solid. Julia Rose Landry had 3 INTs. Emily Rose Gagnon had an INT as well. So it's just a suffocating defense and then an offense for Leahy that couldn't be stopped.
DMX is CCL, so I believe it is a high school team, so they are playing Google, which is a CJIP team. So I mean, it's sometimes it could be a big gap there. So I mean, it can be perfect every single week, but the fact that they're still competing, they're getting better, and I guess they did a little double quarterback. I think also they're preparing for their upcoming season. So for this, it's practice, and the fact that they get to play versus CJIP talent, every single week here and there. We have the Spartans, we have the Hebrew, we have A-Town. The only club team is She Sparks, right? So, and Lioness as well too. Those are the 2 teams that are kind of not club, that are not school teams, but we still get the practice in there. So it's still good to see that they're still competing,
Exactly. We got a late schedule this week. I think it's only one game, right? It's She Sparks taking on Lehibu. They met. She Sparks. Their last game was like all the way back on January 26th, so almost a month ago, right? They beat Lehibu 26-19 in that matchup at Stade Bear. So they're having a rematch tomorrow at 9 p.m. also at Stade Bear. Looking at that first matchup, so Dorian Biro lost 3 touchdowns in that one, but then she was outdone by Gabrielle Brega, who had 4 TD passes, 209 yards. Victoria Bouchard, 2 TD catches, 105 yards. Tabitha Thomas, 2 TD catches, 95 yards. The defense got an INT from Rashani Mitch. So I was wondering now in a rematch, do you think She Sparks could get the sweep there 2-0, or can Lehibo even the series at 1?
I think the Hebel is going to even the series. Again, I think it's going to be a coaching aspect where they both do have coaches, but I think Hebel is going to. I think they're able to adapt a bit better from the first game that they did play. So I'm expecting Hebel is going to get the win here.
Very cool.
Going to the power
rankings, yeah.
Yeah, power rankings real quick. Nothing changed from the previous week, the week before that. Still same thing. Hebrew at 1, Spartans at 2, H-Town at 3, She Sparks at 4, CCL at 5, and Lioness at 6. And we can move to division women's 2.
Women's 2, yeah. So women's 2, looking at it from this last week, right? So we had 5 games. They were pretty much, yeah, they were all blowouts. 3 teams got kept off the scoreboard. Valhalla, part of me, that score kept their game against Supernova on Saturday. So I'm gonna say that Supernova Valhalla game stuck out to me. I'm surprised that Valhalla got whooped by 39 points. By 41 points. It was like 41-6. I will tell you what really it wasn't the scoreboard that stood out with me. There was a female for Supernova. Her name is Ray Mason. So she goes to UCAM. This is freaking ball. 6 catches, 63 yards, a touchdown. She's a big, like, she's not big, she's a thick girl. Like she's about, I want to say, I'm 5'8", give or take. She's about 5'9", I want to say, maybe. Just like thick, but she can move. Like she's solid. She's put together solid, basically. And she was just, her routes were crisp. She was going up and making plays on the ball in the air, snatching balls out of the air for receptions, even on defense. She had 4 tackles. Her coverage was good to the point where the quarterbacks had to start throwing away from her. Kim Lau. All right. I just came away being really impressed. I don't know if it was her first game. I could tell you actually right now if it was her first game playing for Supernova. It is. So it was her first game this season playing for Supernova, but it says here online that she has 8 games played. I just came away thoroughly impressed just by her speed, her skill, and her size. Like this is a player who she should be continues on his level, could probably end up dominating in women's 2 and maybe being a really good addition for maybe a Cayenne or a Sub Zero or a Matrix squad. Maybe not this year, obviously, but maybe down the road in a year or two because she was balling. I was impressed.
Okay, nice. It's always good to see new talent for women's female as well.
Shout out to our quarterback there. Clarence Michaud, 7 touchdown passes, 274 yards. Alicia Anya, 3 touchdown receptions. It's pretty good. Pretty good showing for Supernova.
Yeah, with a huge blowout as well too. But again, kind of what you're kind of saying, a lot of blowouts. One thing I kind of want to talk about, and I don't want to. Sometimes people always say like I'm kind of mean and I should talk, but it is what it is. So we had a blowout with Supernova versus Valhalla, Nomads blowout versus Blue Legacy, Chaos blowout versus Cavaliers, Turf Titans. Shout out to Turf Titans because that was kind of my interesting game of the week, interesting fact. I was kind of curious to see how they would do against Powerpuff, right? So both these teams were winless. I want to say Turf Flames was going on their 3rd game. Powerpuff was going on their 5th game. I think maybe their 6th game at this point. Uh, Powerpuff, I don't know why they're in women's 2. I don't know who made that call, but they have no reason to be in women's 2.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to you guys. I'm not sure if it was something you guys kind of saw women's 3 and was like, okay, we don't want to play women's 3. There's not enough teams. We're better than women's 3. Something around those lines. But the fact that, and no disrespect for Turf Titans, but Turf Titans is probably one of the lower teams in women's 2. The fact that you guys lost versus Turf Titans by 26-0 and you guys didn't score any points, there's an issue in this situation. So hopefully next season, if Powerpuff do come back, they kind of go back to women's 3 and they kind of, get a feeling of the division, get a feeling of winning some games because there's no way, unless Powerpuff plays The Rock, because The Rock has been struggling. But even at that, I think The Rock destroys Powerpuff Girls.
Really?
No. The Powerpuff doesn't even play The Rock. Their schedule is Le Sorte, which is a pretty good team with Clara as
sorority, yeah.
quarterback. You have Vandy
Yeah.
Cheetahs, which is a good team as well. You have Old School, which is a pretty good team as well. A lot of older females that played on that played on different teams before. They're back, and then you have Bolts, where the Bolts
Yeah.
are who. Yeah, again, the Bolts have some pretty good females too as well. So I don't see them winning any games. It's kind of unfortunate because it would have been nice to see a team like this in women's three. It would have been an extra kind of team to kind of get a filling in that division and kind of make a name for themselves compared to being right now in women's two and getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, listen again. Talked about it plenty of times, especially on this episode about division dodging and teams who aren't division dodging. I'll give all the credit in the world for Powerpuff for making the jump. Has it worked out for them? No, it hasn't. But now they know, and they'll regroup and hopefully in the fall season. Sorry, the spring season. My apologies. Go to women's three or women's C. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But yeah, like I said, a lot of blowouts. Again, three teams kept off the scoreboard. Powerpuff being one of them. Cavaliers and Blue Legacy. What's your game of the week next week?
Yeah, my game of the week is going to be on Saturday. It's going to be Chaos versus Nomads. Only issue with this game is we have two undefeated teams, two powerhouse teams. You know, Nomads also known for 7-on-7. By far one of the best Egypt teams out there. They play Division, I think it's Division 2, but it's like Division 1. Because there's Division 3 anyways. They play the highest division in their category. And then you have Chaos, pretty much a team 2B, I would like to say. But we have the Team Canada senior women's tryouts, where pretty much you're going to probably have 100 plus females there. I'm not exactly sure if any players from Chaos are going, but I'm definitely sure that there's going to be at least 2 or 3 females from Nomads that are going to be at that camp. So it would have been nice to see both these teams at full squad, but unfortunately, we're probably going to see maybe Chaos too. Maybe they're going to have some girls, the girls that end up going over there too. But we're going to
should be a couple from Chaos.
We're definitely going to see Nomads missing probably 2 to 3 of their best players. So that's unfortunate to see, but it should still be a good team. Nomads again, they have a big team. They have a big roster, you know. So I'm sure they're able to get some fillers as well too. So it should be a good game in general. It would have been better to see both teams at their full squad, but we're definitely probably going to see that when we get to the playoffs.
All right. That was gonna be my pick for game of the week too. I didn't know about the camp taking place, so I imagine maybe players like Leonie Renault, Stella Crevier, solid quarterback actually. By the way, I had a chance to see her play a few weeks ago. Speaking of the quarterback from Nomads, again in pardon me, sorry, I just lost the page there. Yeah, sorry, in Stella Crevier. I've been impressed so far. I've only seen her for one game. I have to see more. Hopefully, I'll get a chance to score keep them so I can really get an up close and personal look. But so far, so good. 14 touchdown passes, one INT. This game, again, like you're saying, two undefeated teams going at it, right? I know we mentioned last week the game of Chaos. I'll mention it briefly. We talked before we went there. I had a chance to speak to someone from Chaos. I'm not going to say who it was because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus and cause some internal friction. But this player I did speak to from Chaos said 100% they should be in Women's One. So that's not Quaysie and I saying it. That's someone on the team saying we should be in Women's One. And I will quote, playing in Women's Two is cool, but so far we haven't really played anybody of note. That's going to change, obviously, against Nomads, against two undefeated teams, depending on who's there. But this player did tell me we've blown up all the teams we faced so far. We should be having more competition. So she's not taking a number 2 on women's too, because there are some good teams in women's too. But like we've been saying all along, there's good teams and there's chaos.
Yeah.
Someone on your team is saying it. You should be a women's one. I'm just saying, maybe you should be. But again, we'll see what happens.
I don't think Chaos is going to go down. I don't think they're going to be in women's B next year. I think they're probably going to jump. I think they're going to.
They shouldn't be in women's B. They shouldn't be allowed to be in women's B. I mean, so this player did tell me. Okay, yeah, she said that you guys, you ladies, I apologize, did play women's A last spring season, if I'm not mistaken. That's what she said. I'm just double checking here. So Chaos
But there was
did they play in the
yeah,
spring
but
in the
it
women's?
was a situation when there wasn't enough
There was
teams,
no Sub-Zero really.
so
There
they
was
just put everyone kind of together. And that, like, it wasn't a true women's A or
yeah.
B or C. It was just like it
Sorry, it
was
was in the fall. It wasn't spring. Sorry, it was in the fall. It was in the fall season. So that season, yeah, there was. I'm looking at it right here. If I remember correctly, Cayenne and Sub Zero didn't play in the fall season. If I remember correctly, no, they didn't. Yeah,
no,
they didn't. 100% they didn't.
they just
Yeah, they
didn't
didn't play
play.
in the fall season.
They didn't play those teams. So pretty much what is there wasn't enough teams signed up for certain divisions, so they
Yeah,
kind of merged
yeah,
everyone together. But
yeah. Right.
chaos,
And that
chaos
top half
did it.
against the bottom half division. They had the whole thing with the Mavericks and yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
so
So there was ice. Sorry,
wasn't really a
icy hot.
true. Yeah, it
They
wasn't
had that
really.
combo Sub Zero and Cayenne.
Yeah, exactly. That's where chaos. I think they traded 2-2 wins. I think Icy Hot won two games and Chaos won 2 games out of their matchups that they played versus each other. So it was like
Yeah.
it was kind of like it would have been nice actually if they did that. They figured, okay, we won games here. That should have been their stepping step. That's how you
Yeah,
say it.
stepping stone. Yeah, I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you.
exactly. That should have been like, okay, let's dip our toes here, and in fact they kind of got forced into that situation, right? They didn't want to be in that situation. They went for women's B. It came to a fact where there wasn't enough teams, so they had to play teams in women's A. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
should have
So I
been
mean
like,
that doesn't say much. You know what I mean? Like that's okay. Now if I'm wrong, I apologize. But that sounds to me like they wanted to go women's two, but because there was a shortage of teams of women's one, they were forced to play against women's one team, which was icy hot. And maybe Wolfpack at the most. He had that Mavericks team. I remember seeing it at the
I
end of the
think they played
season
the
during
Mavericks. Yeah,
finals.
it was a very weird schedule. They played Icy Hot like 4 times, and then they played Wolfpack
Yeah.
like twice. It was a weird schedule.
Yeah, and again, they proved they could hang against Icy Hot. Now, is Icy Hot Sub Zero? No. Is Icy Hot Cayenne? No. But you have players that play on both teams, hence why the name is Icy Hot. And they prove the chaos that they're good enough to hang with these ladies. Like
Yeah,
this is our whole point, right? This team has tons of experience and a ton of winning under their belts, and a ton of really elite top end players. Their own players said they should be playing women's one, and I fully agree on that. Like I'm not coming off of that. I've said it time and time again. I know some of them are tired of hearing my voice and seeing my face talking about it, but it is what it is. Obviously the nomad game is going to be a little different because there's going to be players missing on both sides. I would love to see them head to head with full rosters. Hopefully we'll get to see that a little later, and then we'll see a winner. But do I expect Chaos to still win this game? Yeah, I kind of do, to be honest with you.
yeah, same here.
Whether they were full rosters or not, I still expect Chaos to be Nomads.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm hoping for a good game. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be scorekeeping that game. So
Nice. Okay, good. There you go.
definitely, you'll definitely see some. You'll definitely get a recap for me.
Nice.
Power rankings for these girls for women's two. Chaos at 1, Nomads at 2, Wolfpack at 3, Supernova at 4, Dream Killers at 5, they'll have at 6, Old School at 7, La Sortoriel. Oh no, La Sort
Sorority. It's a sorority.
Sorority. I'm trying to say. Anyways, the sorority at 8, Cavs at 9, Bulls at 10. The sorority.
All right.
Again,
Mr. Good.
women.
Women's one, where chaos should be. Uh, so let's see here. So Sub Zero sitting on top, 5-0. Looking at the matchups, sorry, that happened this past week. So a little light on the schedule, right? So Valentine's Day, Valentine's afternoon, actually, we had 2 games that were started. I was there. I didn't score keep these games, but they were on the field next to me. Cayenne. So Cayenne against Verior. I was impressed with Verior. They were making some plays, man. They lost 24-20, but again, a first year team who they're 0-4 for the season, but they almost knocked off Cayenne, right? They Cayenne won by 4. It's a veteran Cayenne squad. And then 1 hour later, unfortunately, VAO got smoked 41-12 by Sub Zero. But listen, all the credit in the world to the Verior making that step up to women's one, and they almost knocked off a heavyweight.
Yeah, they did. They did have Kaya did have Clara as quarterback, so it's a bit different.
True,
Than
true, very true, very true. But still,
quarterback is, but they made it a close game, and that's all you're kind of asking for. The last 2 games that vet they all Sherbrooke had, they got blown out, So stepping stone, as well. You had a good game versus Cayenne, and then unfortunately you play and their powerhouse team Sub-Zero. Sometimes you give so much for one team, and you play their team, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
kind of
You're exhausted the game after, exactly.
yeah. So, and these are
100%.
two good teams, right? It's not
The
like you're
best of the
playing.
best, I say.
It's not like you're playing versus bad athletes. Like if you're looking at the name, just even
Exactly.
Cayenne, looking at the full roster there, you have a bunch of girls that are on Team Canada, represent Team Canada.
Yeah, I remember seeing, yeah.
So again, it's not a walk in the
Terrible.
park. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you're like, okay, we lose that game. We had a good game. Halftime, we were up. We didn't have the best second half. Okay, we're fine. And then you play versus a powerhouse Sub-Zero, and unfortunately, they beat you guys 41-12. So again, it's not easy. It's not a for them to kind of play into women's one. It wasn't going to be easy. I think they kind of realized that, and we talked about it before. This is a way that they're going to get better, and they're learning. It's an experience, and they should be happy that the
Exactly.
fact that they get to play against all these good teams, because if you go look anywhere else, like you don't get the privilege of playing versus girls that are literally on Team Canada or on the roster Team
Yeah,
Canada, or
yeah, yeah.
you don't get the chance to always do that. So I think you kind of have to look at it to a point where, yeah, maybe we did lose 41-12, but I was able to stop. I was able to make a stop on a girl, or I was able to bat down a pass from Sarah Parker, or just you have to look at the little things sometimes. So if
Yeah, but
if
that's it.
they're
And so to interrupt you, I was going to say, and even for these ladies from Sherbrooke, right? It's a chance. Go talk to Sarah after the game, right? Go talk to Sabrina. Go talk to Catherine Gomo, Jasmine Farmer, Jessica. Hey, the list goes on and on. Go talk to these players and pick their brains, right? I mean, and again, I heard some of that game too, and very or even when they scored a touchdown, they were celebrating, high fives going around. Again, Ellie Teller, who had a monster game against Cayenne, had another solid game, almost 100 yards as well, and the loss of Sub-Zero. But I love what I saw just in terms of the support and the happiness that these ladies were experiencing for their teammates, even one getting blown up by Sub-Zero, and obviously the heartbreaking loss to Cayenne. I like what I saw. This team, give them a couple more seasons and some more games under the belt. I think very are going to be a team to be reckoned with. And again, all credit in the world to those ladies for hopping up to women's one right away. Because honestly, if you could trade them for chaos, I think that'd be really good. I think Verrier would have, well, they're 0-4 right now, I believe. They'd have at least one or two wins under their belt in women's two. Whereas I think Chaos would definitely have some wins under the belt in women's one. But I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you get what I'm
yeah.
saying here.
I think if they both were in women's one, I think it'd be great to see. It would open the
Yeah,
schedule,
sure,
right? You
sure.
don't have to double. You don't have to play teams twice, because right now there's only 5 teams in this division. So I think everyone
Yeah,
plays.
yeah,
You,
yeah.
you play versus a team ever twice, right? So if you add chaos, you would not play one team twice. I think you'd be six. So you play 5-1 that extra games. I think you play everyone twice except for one team. So not too much crazy stuff, but again, and then you get to see like a Blue Pawn versus Veteran, and then a Blue Pawn versus Chaos, like the bottom teams, to see kind of how they compare. It'd be interesting. That
Yeah.
when Chaos play like Matrix, if they get upset, like it'll be cool to see. But to be honest, I think in the next season or next season, whatever. I know during the summer season, a lot of these girls don't play because they're kind of busy. They're kind of doing their own thing, and then when it comes into the fall season, they're in their season, and then winter is where kind of everything starts up. So I'm very curious to see winter 2027, how it's going to be when you're going to see. I'm sure we're going to have at least one or two, maybe three other teams that are going to make that jump into women's one. No, actually, three is kind of a big step. Maybe at least two, and chaos is definitely going to be one of them.
Should be.
Looking
Should be.
looking at the standings right now, right? So everyone makes playoffs, which is fine because
Mhm.
there's only five. So that five, if there's 5 teams, I'm not gonna argue about it. I'm wondering when I'm waiting for Veteran plays Blue Pawn. That's a
Oh,
game I
yeah,
want to see.
that's my pick for game of the week. That's my pick for game of the week. Tell you that right now.
Yeah, that happens week 9, so we kind of have to wait. I think one more week.
No, it happens on Saturday, dude. No, so it's next Saturday. My bad. So yeah, there's actually a bye this week. Sorry, it happened. Week 9. You're right. My apologies. That's on me. My bad. My bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're right.
So again, so no, there's no games for women's one this week. You guys get a bye, and you guys go into week 9. But again, me and Brent have game of the week next week we'll probably talk about it next week as well. Blue Bond versus Veteran, because it's going to be interesting to see how both these teams play. I think they're kind of used to each other too. I'm sure everyone. I think all the females are kind of used to each other, but it's gonna be cool to see who comes up top in this. Who comes up on top in this game.
All right, let's go to co-ed 3.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a ton of games last week. So I'm looking at it here, we had 8 games last week. Again, kind of sticking with the same theme, right? Like a lot of blowouts. There was like one game that was, sorry, 2 games that were close, 3 games, sorry, 3 games that were close, but that's pretty much about it. Um, yeah, for me, the game that stood out to me, I want to say was, I think, Vicious and Delicious against Le Vieux. That's how you
Okay.
pronounce that.
Mm-hmm.
14-12 victory for Vicious and Delicious in that contest. Yeah, looking at it here. So I mean, the game, yeah, obviously 7-6 at halftime, and 7-6 with a score in the second half. Look at the game-winning drive here. Yeah, that was gonna happen. Wow. Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, game-winning drive is actually, so they very new scored a touchdown, but they went for two about halfway through the second half, and then like they didn't get it. But that was pretty much it. So kind of a defensive slugfest for the rest of the way. There was a sack in there, a couple of completions. It was a 26-yard gain, but it didn't result in the touchdown for either side. So yeah, there's a lot of defensive showdown pretty much in that contest. And like I said, though, the Fishes and Delicious picking up the W in that contest. So with that win for Fishes and Delicious, now their record, so first win of the season, right? They moved to 1-4, and they veered new. They dropped to 1-3 now with that win, with that loss, right?
Yeah, love to see a team finally get their first win in the season. Good to
Yeah.
see. My game is Dream Killers versus Sacapel. Sacapel's not a good team. Um, sorry, what's me say? They're not the best team. They're 0-6. So they do struggle. The reason that's my game of the week because I'm happy that they were able to score 20 points on a Dream Killers team that right now that is 6-0. They're 5-0, 6-0, and the fact that Sacapel scored 0 the week before. So they got shut out last. They got shut out the week before. Then they end up playing one of the best teams right now in Co-ed 3, and they're able to score 20 on them. Then Dream Killers are still doing what they're doing. They're 6-0. Naomi Forten is doing a great job. Right now, she's in control. Right now, she's in control. She's kind of the captain of her team, and she's looking. Try. I'm sure. I'm sure she's right now. She looks like she's super competitive, and the fact that she's 6-0, I'm sure she's there. I'm sure she's in that huddle or when she's talking to her teammates, trying to go for that 10-0 season. Uh, their schedule as well too. Their next 4 games that they have left are winnable games. I don't see them. I don't see them losing games. I don't see any of these teams beating them. So that's a good thing. They don't play any of the powerhouse teams where I'm just like, oh, maybe that could be a loss. But so they have a good rest of the season coming down to the last 4 games. And I won't be surprised if Dream Killers for some reason end the season 10-0. Game of the week.
For me, I got Monday night and Statty Bear. I got End Zone Cartel taking on You Touched It. You Catch It. End Zone Cartel now sitting at 4-0. So they're one of the 200 teams, sorry, 300 teams left in this division. You Touch It, You Catch It sitting at 3-2, right? So these two teams separated only by 2 points in the standings. So Enzo Cartel in third, You Touch It, You Catch It sitting in eighth. So if You Touch It, You Catch It can get the win, they'll leapfrog a couple of teams and be tied potentially actually for second place in that division.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a big jump. My game of the week. I want to see the hot dogs. My game of the week. I'm gonna take hot dogs versus flamingos.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
It's 2 teams that are kind of struggling right now, but it's always nice to see 2 bottom teams play. Not well. I mean, hot dogs are 1-3, flamingos are 2-3. But it's also sometimes good to see teams that are struggling to see who's actually struggling the better and who has a better schedule. Sometimes we see teams that are 1-3, and then we see teams that are 2-3, and the reason why their records are not reversed is because one of them had an easier schedule than the other. So it's nice to see when sometimes those bottom teams end up playing versus each other.
Yeah.
Let's go to
all right. Let's go to Core 2, or you want to do the power rankings quickly?
Yeah, I'll do the power rankings. So I was co-ed 3. So one second. Just pull this up. Okay, power rankings for. I think I have Dream Killers at 1. End Zone Cartel at 2. Shakira 2.0 at 3. Then I have Pick Artist at 4. I have Shaquille O'Neal at 5. Shadow Squad at 6. You Touch It, You Catch It at 7. Steelers at 8. Pondons at 9. And number 10 is Silai Kip.
Co-ed. Yeah. You want to go to Co-ed 2 or?
Yeah. Let's go to Co-ed 2. So I'm just going to pop it up so everyone can see it here. So, interesting fact. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I have 2, to be honest with you. Number 1 is Mavericks losing versus Michael Scott Tots. Mm-hmm. Right now, Mavericks they're struggling. They came in from Co-ed 3, being pretty much the powerhouse team. Now they're kind of playing versus more people around their caliber. You have Xavier as the quarterback over there. He's not able to do everything that he was able to do in Co-ed 3. So that makes him a better player, and also makes the game the game is a bit better. That's the fact that they're 2-3, and for some reason I thought they were able to get for some reason I thought they would have got the win versus Michael Scott Tots, but they didn't. So shout out to Michael Scott Tots. They played a good game. David had a good game. 21 completion, 35 attempts. It completed 21 passes, 240 yards, 6 touchdowns, no INTs. Compared to Xavier that threw 1 INT. So I think that's one of the differences in there. And Michael Scott Tots had a hard start going into the first half, going up 22-12. So good job on him. And I think Zach also did a good job in containing. I didn't see the game, but Zach had 2 sacks, so I'm pretty sure he had Xavier running left and right and trying to contain him as much as he can. Xavier likes to also run left and then kind of hold the ball a bit and try to look for a receiver, go right, because he is trying to be a passer. He's trying to learn how to pass the ball. So it's kind of sometimes that could be a benefit for Zachary when a quarterback does that, because Zachary's just going for your flag at the end of the day. So that was one of my games, and then I have as well Venom getting the win from Party Mix.
Party Mix, yeah.
Party Mix is struggling right now, to be honest with you. But the fact that Venom, I'm high on Venom right now. So the fact that they're able to get out there with a win, improve the record to 4-0. A win's a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a good game. I watched that game a bit on St. Laurent. I was on the opposite field, and so Noah LaChance been in the league for a while. I was former tackle quarterback. His dad's been an official in the league for a long time. His mom's in the league as well. He has a strong arm. Noah, one of the strongest arms of all the quarterbacks in FPF, regardless of any division. But he's just gunning it in all the time. Like every pass, he's like whipping it. It's like watching like Brett Favre like back in the day or something like that. Like strong arm, but you have to put touch. You can't whip like on 5 yard. You can't whip the ball 5 yard outs or on hook passes. And you can see his receivers, some of them just putting their hands up in the air, like hoping it would hit their hands. Like you gotta have touch. It's great to have a strong arm when you're throwing deep and you have to throw those intermediate routes over the middle and that, but you can't be throwing like 5 yard ins, like 80 miles per hour. Like there's a ton of drops in this because he's throwing the ball too hard. And he's been a quarterback long enough, open flag and tackle, where you should know you got to put some touch sometimes. You got to slow down the fastball. But
Yeah, exactly. I think it's also his mechanics too. The fact that I
oh
see him
yes, oh
wind up
yeah,
and he just kind of just throws it, and it's just
yeah,
like, oh, you're kind of used to those mechanics, you know. Like the same thing
yeah,
when I played with
yeah, yeah,
Miles Gibbons. Miles Gibbons, I brought him in as one of our quarterbacks in co-ed, and
yeah.
some of these girls, man, the ball came at them and they made those catches. So I'm like, I don't know how you caught that because that was coming fast, you know. And it's like, I'm like, yo, can you
Yeah.
just like tone it down a bit? But sometimes it's kind of when your mechanics are like that, and again, Noah's been a quarterback for a while now. When your mechanics are like that, sometimes it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, it's like a bit of a hitch in his mechanics. The way he kind of opens his hips, it looks it's like a compact throw, but it comes out kind of weird sometimes. So I think that
Yeah,
maybe
it's like he
has something
opens
to
and
do
it's
with
like,
it.
and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
no,
Exactly.
I no, I exactly know what you mean.
I like what I saw out of Venom. I'm high on him too. Paul up here was delivering the ball. A couple of drops in that game. He would have had to score to been a bit bigger for his side. Again, they won that game 28-12. Came away impressed with Eunice Futso. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Futso. Uh, Speaking of Ray Mason before, another big sister. This girl's a big girl too. Like she's thick, she's tall. I think she's about 5'9", maybe 5'10". But she had just like Ray Mason, like, she could run. Like she has some speed. She's making some plays on the ball on that. Both sides of the ball, she was making an impact. She had two pass deflections on defense, one catch on three targets. But again, she had a big grab, and she has like length and speed, which is always a good combination. And she was bigger than some of the guys on the field, so like she's able to use that size to get in the way of passes on defense and to get open on offense. So that's a big weapon. And Donald Shepard, obviously Don, the Hall of Famer as well. Him, Paul, two veterans on this team leading a bunch of young kids, and it's good to see. It's good to see. Good team venom.
Okay, nice. Who's your game of the week?
So my game of the week. So I was going back and forth on a couple of games. I'm gonna pick those. So Kamikaze, so Michael Scott's Tots again against Kamikaze. These teams are separated in the standings by, I believe it's by no 2 points. So Michael Scott's Tots 3-2 with 6 points. Kamikaze 2-2 with 4 points. Right. So they sit in eighth and ninth respectively in this division. So a big game between those two teams, and that's coming up tomorrow in Brassard. Actually, I'll be there for that game. Some score. No, actually, no scorekeeping in Concordia tomorrow. My apologies. I wish I was in Brassard doing that game, but yeah, that's in Brassard tomorrow at 1 p.m.
Yeah, it should be a good game. Mine is actually the game that's going to happen before them. Shark Attack versus Party Mix. Two teams that are struggling right now. Shark Attack is 1-3. Party Mix is, I want to say, 1-4. So two teams that are kind of at the bottom. It's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna win this game. I believe Party Mix should win this game, but I won't be surprised if Shark Attack kind of pulls one out their hat there. Where Richie has quarterback, he's been struggling a
Yeah,
bit. He's been struggling a bit. Yeah,
yeah,
some
yeah.
really bad passes I've heard. But again, if if he wants to bounce back, this is the week to kind of bounce back when you're playing versus a struggling Party Mix that also is desperate for a win right now.
All right. So,
For yeah, just for
all right.
rankings, power rankings to get it out. Venom at 1, Mixology at 2. So yeah, Venom at 1, Mixology at 2,
Yeah.
Block Party at 3. We thought you were snacks at 4. No pads, no helmets at 5. Back that pass up at 6. Michael Scott Tots at 7. Lee Wu's at 8. Kamikaze at 9, and then we have Mavericks at 10.
Nice. Okay. Fair. All right. Let's hop over to Coed 1.
Yep.
3 games last week. The Merge beating IG Team 40-20. Flag on my flag beating Laguerre 2 45-22. And Fit Squad beating Plenty of Fish 26-18. So a bit of an upset there, I would say. And 3 games this coming week as well. Which game do you pick? What game stood out to you?
For this, sorry, I'm looking at the things that
Right.
I made.
Okay, so I'll go first then, since while you're waiting for your thing to get ready. So Fifth Squad knocking off Plenty of Fish, like I said, by a score of 26 to 18. Uh, I'm not seeing any stats here right now. This is the only game that was like close because the other two games were blowouts in this division. Um, Fortunately, I'm not getting the stats right
Yeah,
here.
the website's down right now.
Yeah, okay. All right then. Fantastic. All
Yeah,
right.
there.
Okay. So
It's
looking at the
now.
upcoming games, right? Sorry?
I think it's open now. It's what I know. I tried on my phone. I tried on my thing, and it's both not. It's not
Okay.
working.
All right. So we can move on. So don't worry about it. This week we have the Merge 2.0 taking on Plenty of Fish. We have Silly Geese taking on Laguerre Took. And then the Merge again taking on Fit Squad. So for the Merge, it's 2 games in 2 days. Tomorrow against Plenty of Fish. And then Sunday against Fit Squad. And like I said, Silly Geese taking on Laguerre Took. Which game stands out to you or for your game of the week?
Game of the week this week is gonna be Silly Goose versus Legatuk. Legatuk last year they were impressive. I don't know if they're they were
Yeah,
called
yeah.
Legatuk. Yeah, they were
Yeah, they were.
impressive. They had a hot start, bad finish, ended up winning their last game when I said they're gonna lose the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
game. They proved me wrong, but really again bad finish. The fact that you guys started that hot and then had the end of the season. Sorry, you guys started super hot, and then I think they lost like 3 or 4 in a row, and then ended up getting one extra win. But anyways, yeah, so they're playing Silly Goose, Silly Geese. Sorry, Silly Geese is a powerhouse team. From top to bottom, females, the males. So it's gonna be interesting to see how both these teams are gonna match up, and also how Alex is gonna be able to play against Jessica's rushing him. Alex is
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
Alex is actually extremely fast. You don't think he's that fast, but he's fast. So it's going to be
Be
interesting to
fast.
see how he plays, how Jessica matches up against him. I know he's a quarterback where if he has to run, he's going to run. So
Mm.
it's just going to be able to contain him. Again, Jessica's an amazing rusher. She's been doing a good job in general, but he's shifty. I've seen fast guys coming at him. I've seen fast female coming at him in quad divisions, and it's the point where he takes one step and he's gone. So
Yeah.
it's my game of the week. I know Silly Geese is definitely going to score. I know Kevin White is definitely going to put points on the board against this against Duke defense. They're not the best defense. I feel like Silly Goose is definitely going to drop at least 40. But for some reason I feel like Alex is going to be able to maybe not keep up as much, but definitely put points on the board.
So obviously you're talking about the quarterback there, Alex Zablisky. Yeah, so going against Jessica Bussy Tappan, right? So I mean, like again, she is one of the best rushers, period, in the history of FPF. Don't bother to think, oh, male, female. No, Jessica Bussy Tappan is one of the best rushers that's ever stepped foot on the flag football field. Again, Team Canada, rightfully so. Sub-Zero. Yeah, her against Alex Zaleski because he's fast, but he's also quick, right? Like you talked about, he's able to make those cuts at like the drop of a dime and change directions with ease and make throws. He's one of those rare quarterbacks that can throw off his back foot or throw across his body and still be accurate with it. So yeah, Jessica Bussy Type is going to have her hands full trying to stop him. I want to go with the merge though against Fit Squad, two veteran teams. They've been in the league for a long time, both male and female players that can really ball. I'm looking forward to that game. Again, that's to be Sunday at Sadie Bear at 2 p.m. The Merge 2.0 against Fit Squad. Obviously, the winner of that game, the Merge 4-0 right now, right? Fit Squad 2-2. So, I mean, they're only 4 points behind. If Fit Squad can knock off the number one seed, right, that means that Merge won't be undefeated. And if Fit Squad could be tied for second with Lego My Flag potentially and Silly Geese, depending on what happens in their matchups over the next couple of days.
Yeah, just looking at the playoff standings real quick here. If you had to choose, right, I think Fit Squad's going to be able to get in here. Lego My Flag, definitely Silly Goose, yeah, because there's one team there's 7 teams in this division. One team doesn't make it. If you had to choose, they get a 2 at 1-3 right now. IG team that's 0-3 as well, and Plenty of Fish. What team are you choosing not to make playoffs?
Good
Without
question.
looking at the schedules, just kind of like it's kind of hard not to look at the schedules, but I'm saying like right now, if you're in a situation to like pick a team which one are you choosing? So they go to Tuga are 1-3, 4 games played. IG team are 0-3, 3 games played, and Plenty Fish are 0-4, 4 games played. To be honest with you, both teams are struggling right now on offense. Is IG team and
Yeah, yeah.
they're both
I,
struggling on
I,
offense. And
I'd say for sure Plenty of Fish is not going to make the playoffs. I mean, they're struggling on offense. Their defense isn't exactly that great either. It's hard. Like the IG team, I mean, it's not the previous iteration, right, of the IG team that won championship after championship, but it's still a lot of the same players, a lot of the same parts, right? Do I put more money on like Alex Zaleski and his crew, or do I go, okay, you got Jean Lee, you got Constance, right? You have Ivan Salomon, right? Like a lot of guys. Shandy Louis Jack has been on the team for like a zillion years since the beginning, I think. Do I put more money on them? I want to because of pedigree, but you know what I'm gonna say right now, the records are what the records are, and like you look at the IG team, right? They got beat by the Merge 2.0. There's no shame in that. But the fact they got smoked by like 20 points, like I don't know. I'm gonna say the IG, the two teams, right, who are right now the worst in this division. Uh, Looking at it, I
also,
honestly think that they're
you
gonna miss
also
the
have to
playoffs.
you also have to look at the IG. They play the Merge, which is the top team. They played Silly Goose, right? They played two of the top teams in the last 3 games, compared to playing any
True.
of the bottom teams as well. So you also
True. Okay. So that's true. And they play together took March 15th. So that's gonna be a huge game in terms of the standings, right? And they play them again actually end of the season. They played in week 13. So that could potentially be a win and get in scenario. I'm just like I think that no, I could be wrong, but I've seen both teams play before. For something I don't know. I just feel like I think that Legarda Took is a little deeper of a team whereas I feel that IG team is top heavy, right? Like again, Constance and Jean your two best players. That's fine. There's no harm in that. And Gabrielle Poisson, formerly of IG team, obviously now on Laguerre Took, she needs to be having a much better time than Laguerre Took as well. I think that the females for Laguerre Took can make more impact plays overall than the females from IG team. Don't forget as well, Stella Jean Jacques is also not on the IG team anymore. She was a big component to the winning back in the day, at least making finals appearances back in the day. She's also not there. So I think, yeah, they get it took. We'll get into the playoffs over the IG team.
okay. Um, okay, makes sense. I think that's
All
it
right.
for.
Yeah, that's it for co-ed. We got co-ed 5v5 though.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, so looking at that, this past week we had some maple syrup beating 18 dummies 36-32, Airbuds 32-27 off of Nice to Meet You, and then Spicy Braves getting the W 30-18 over Gundam. Well, which game stood out to you the most?
Well, I'll say the game that I played.
Yeah.
I played. I'm on Earbud, so we played Nice to Meet You.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good game. Um, Back and forth. To be honest with you, Jeff almost screwed everything up, which is kind of crazy to say.
You said that the
Um,
week before too.
yeah, he's been doing it often, but we were pretty much in control. We were pretty much in control starting the second half, and it was to a
Right.
point where Nice to Meet You. So Ben's team they end up scoring a touchdown, and they go up. I think they score a touchdown. They go for one. They get the convert, so they're down by 5. We have the ball with maybe I want to say like 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. There wasn't that much time left. Jeff throws a pick six to Bakari. Uh, yeah, so Jeff throws a pick six to Bakari literally next play. So they score. They miss the convert, but they go up one to a situation where we were up by 12 points with like 5 minutes left to being down by one with like 2 minutes left. It was a crazy turnaround. But we ended up driving on the field, ended up scoring, and then I think Ben had maybe 2 plays left to score a touchdown. So we came out very lucky. Well, like lucky but not lucky because we were up. But that game was pretty interesting from top to bottom. Both teams at the beginning of the game, both teams got stopped on both drives. So it was literally 0-0 for the first like 10 minutes, and then both teams ended up scoring fast on both, not on pretty much goes and miss flags, where halftime it was looking like it was going to be 0-0, and then instead it was 14-14, and then we got a quick score, then a stop, and then a score, and then they end up catching back up after.
Okay. All right. I want to go with maple syrup and AT and dummies. Yeah, game went down to the wire. Looking at it here, so Marc-Andre Reeves, 275 yards, 5 touchdowns. Sarah Parker, 264 yards, 5 touchdowns, but 2 INTs. So Chrissy Bazil, I don't know if you know him. I think he played at Concordia one time. I always see him. He's subbing for a team. Every time I see him, he's never on a team full time. He's subbing from Division One all the way to any other division. And he had a big game, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. One girl to caught my attention. So before we talked about Supernova laying a beat down on Valhalla, Amy, I don't know if it's duel or duel. I'm gonna say duel because I challenge you to a duel. Maybe she's challenging people to a duel before the games because I saw her make a couple of plays in that Supernova game. She's tough. Like she's a tough chick and she makes a lot of tough grabs. She was diving over here to make tackles and all that. So in this game, she had 4 catches, 39 yards. Someone I'm keeping my eye on is like one of those upcoming players, kind of flies under the radar. Switching sides again back to maple syrup. Right? We talked about Reeves, but then obviously Serge Pilon Jr., right? Hall of Famer, 4 TD catches, 140 yards. Nick Pilon, 2 INTs in the game. Alex Pilon had a couple of grabs, and he's doing INT as a quarterback, but whatever. Yeah, so tight game. Again, went down to the wire. Shout out to Lori. Lori had 4 catches, 69 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that performance as well. Looking at how the game ended, pretty much, yeah, Lori. So Lori got the game-winning touchdown. Lori got a 20-yard touchdown for Marc-Andre Reeves with about, I want to say, maybe a minute or 2 minutes left in the game. And yeah, that was the final score is Maple Syrup won 36-32 over AT and Dummies.
Yeah, I was actually at that. Well, I was scorekeeping, so I
Oh,
was watching next to it.
nice.
Maple Syrup was pretty much in control, and they let ATMWs come back, and it was to a point where ATMWs almost literally won that game, but Maple Syrup ended up scoring at the end, and they were able to clutch it literally at the last their drive. They scored, and then ATMWs couldn't score. So it was a good game. It was pretty. It's again, we kind of talked about before. It's kind of nice to see so much talent on both sides of the ball, and just too
Yeah.
much talent in this literally this division. It's also nice to see that the Surge brothers are back too. You have all three brothers.
Yeah, Kazan Brothers, yeah, for sure, 100%.
It's cool to see. Game of the week
Oh,
for you.
that's a good question. Go first. Go first.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. Team Rocket. I'm gonna go maple syrup. Maple syrup versus Gundam. Gundam.
And then okay. Let's pick that shoot. Okay, I'm gonna go. Um, Gundam against Flag Montequa. Actually, no. 18 dummies against Spicy Braves. So Sarah Parker, one of the goats against another one of the goats as well, and Joe Mahir. So this coming Wednesday at Saidi Bear. Mahir against Parker should be a good one.
Okay, nice. Quickly, the power rankings. We have Spicy Braves at 1, Flag 1 at 2, Airbuds at 3, Maple Syrup at 4, ATS at 5, Gundam at 6. Nice to meet you at 7, and Team Rocket at 8.
All right. So a quick 5v5 intermediate. 2 games this past week. Red Zone beating Flag Quebec U16. I think I score kept that game. Yeah, I did 43 28th, and then Team Quebec U18 blowing out Flag Avengers 43-12.
Yeah,
Uh,
I watched
yeah,
the Team Quebec team, and it was a bloodbath.
yeah,
Yeah, literally, that's all they're saying. It was a bloodbath. Team Quebec U18 literally was able to do whatever they want. Flag Avengers were struggling. They weren't adapting to what Team Quebec was able to do. One thing I do have to say is that they're coached well, and their schemes are very hard to understand. So it's to a point where, yes, they are playing in intermediate, and the reason why is because I think it competitive, they wouldn't be able to kind of run their schemes to the way they would want to run it because competitive, you're able to adapt a bit better and understand certain systems compared to flag
Yeah.
vendors. Like they weren't able to adapt. It was to a point where um, they couldn't stop anything. So pretty much Team Quebec was doing double quarterback. They're doing rollout. They're just pretty much having fun out there, which is their offense. That's literally how they play it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought this game was going to be a bit closer than it was, but it really wasn't.
Yeah. All right. So the score kept the red zone football Quebec U16. It's about the second or third time I've scored kept a flag a U16 game. Good kids. They're all good kids. They're all athletic. I think they're about 11, 12 deep. It becomes a thing where this defense, they struggle on defense. There's blown assignments all over the place. The coach is yelling at them multiple times. Just he's like, we can't play man. Oh no, I think he ended up switching to man because they couldn't run the zones that he was trying to run, and he kept on getting burned for touchdowns. The game at one point, the red zone, they were down again. They were up 21-0 at the half. Flag Quebec U16 started to come back a bit in that game, but then again, they're just their defense is the guys were wide open over the middle. Like Victor Boutin was just doing like 12-yard hooks over the middle of the field, and they weren't rotating over. But again, these are kids, right? They're under 16. Their future is bright. There is one kid though caught my attention. So I was Leo Gervais was reffing with me, and he goes, "Who's this kid here?" Olivier Lapointe. This kid had 6 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown. This kid, I don't know where he plays, but as a receiver, he was great. As a defender, he had 3 tackles and one pass deflection. He was coming over the top, and Leo's like, if you give this kid about 15 pounds more, he could play safety somewhere or play corner or something. This kid he's long and he's fast, quiet, doesn't talk any trash at all, but he's making plays on both sides of the ball. And I came really impressed. Again, these are kids, right? Dylan Roberts, the quarterback, 185 yards, 4 touchdowns. Did he miss some throws? Yes. Were there some drops? 100% from his receivers, but these kids are balling and they're getting better each time out that I see them.
Yeah, it's completely learning. It's kind of funny. Look at Dylan Roberts' picture. It's him when he's playing junior, so maybe he was like 10 years
There you go. Exactly. If they can just clean up some of their mistakes on both sides of the ball, they'll start to stack some wins together because there's a lot of talent and they're coached well. It's just they're kids, right? They're gonna make mistakes and not always listen. Right? They're 2-3 right now, so it's not as if they're 0-5. So at least that's something.
Yeah, they're learning. That's the reason why they're in this league. It's the reason why they're trying to compete versus better teams, older adults too, right? Older guys. You're developing a bit. When you're older, you develop. You kind of can see sometimes a difference where sometimes they don't win their battles because the guy is just so much more developed than they are. So
Exactly.
they're able to when they play kids their actually age, they actually start getting the advantage, or they're able to kind of use the stuff that they did versus older guys where they're able to use that versus the kids their age, the guys their age, and come up on top.
Yeah.
Game of the week. Who do you have?
I got Flags Online taking on actually the same team, Flag Quebec U18 that's taking place this Tuesday in Chateauguay. You know what? I might call an upset special here. I think I might say, you know what? I'm going to call it Flag Quebec U16 is going to have an upset victory over Flag Zone Live. Calling it right here on the podcast. You heard it here first.
Okay.
So, what about you for game of the week?
I'm gonna go Hungry Hippos.
Okay, yeah.
Hungry Hippos versus Les Benchwarmers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how come you're choosing that game instead of Hungry Hippos against Green Monster?
Who's playing? Because Hungry Hippos are playing first. Because Green Monsters are 2-2. Hungry
Yeah.
Hippos is 1-3, and Les Benchwarmers are 0-5. So I kind of want to see.
Okay. Yeah. Are you predicting an upset here? You Benchwarmers are going to get their first W, or
No, no. I'm not saying. No, I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna
okay?
get a. I don't think they're gonna get upset. I just think it's gonna be a better game than some of the games that some of these teams had playing versus.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our rankings: Team Quebec one. Literally, it's Team Quebec at 1. Flag Flanders at 2. Green Monster at 3. Flags Don't Lie at 4. Red Zone at 5. Team Quebec at 6, Hungry Hippos at 7, and they bench Warriors at 8.
All right, nice.
Let's finish off with competitive 5v5. Right here. So competitive 5v5, we had a few games. I actually got to watch one of them, which was pretty entertaining. Just gonna go through it. Yeah, so a few things happened in 5v5. Number one, Blue Dry got their first win versus KGP. So congratulations to Blue Dry. Naproxen beat No Regard. So I think we both said Naproxen is going to beat No Regard, or maybe I know I did. I'm not sure
I
you
did.
did, but I know
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah.
I know I did. So we kind of there we go. No Regard is still struggling, and I got to watch Party Crashers versus Montreal Magic, which was pretty good to see. I was kind of
Nice.
funny, right? Because Jean Lee made that switch. Is no longer part of the Montreal Magic team. So the
Right,
fact they
right. Yeah.
got to play his team early on in the season, not early on in the season, but the fact he got to play his old team was kind of cool to see. I'm not exactly sure how things kind of. I mean, I'm not sure how things kind of left between Montreal Magic and Jean Lee, but it was nice to see. It was nice to see him kind of playing with Park Crashers, kind of getting to that quarterback system from himself, kind of taking control instead of being that receiver or snapper that a lot of us are used to see him. So, but it was a good game. Ended up 29-26. Montreal Magic scored. I think they went for onside. They scored late, went for onside to kind of score fast because there was no much time, but unfortunately they didn't get it and they ended up losing 29-26.
All right. For me, I'm gonna go. I think I said this last week. If I'm not mistaken, I should go back and watch uh the entire episode. I think I said Blue Dry 10.1. I think I picked in the BKGP League. Well, they did. Fred Junot, so that's my buddy Fred. 28 28, 5 TD passes in the game. Ivan Desjardins is number one target. 88 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty solid effort by him. Yeah, they got to an upset victory, obviously over KGP League. So yeah, so good for Blue Dry 4.1. So with that W now, the record for Blue Tribe. Sorry.
They're 1-2. Yeah, first they got their first win of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. So good for them. KGP League drops to 2-2 now. But yeah, like I said, obviously Party Crash is a huge win, staying undefeated by beating Montreal Magic. So that's cool to see. And approximately, like we said, getting the victory, their first of the year over No Regard. What's your pick for game of the week?
Not looking at game of the week, but I just want the question for you. No Regards 0-5, Naproxen's 1-3, Blue Dry's 1-2. There's one team that's not making playoffs. Are we saying No Regards not gonna make playoffs? They're 0-5 right now.
100%, 100%, 100%, but not making playoffs.
Okay.
100%.
We're both on the same page. They play Party Crashers twice, Raw Dogs twice, and Blue Dry at the end of the season. Unless
Exactly.
the only way they're getting in this is if the Blue Dry loses their next 5 games, 6 games. They go 5 games. Well, 6 games, 5 games, and then they play No Regard, and then they beat them in the tiebreak. That's the only way No Regard gets in here.
Yeah, you're right. And to be clear, like, listen, I think No Regard has a talented roster. They've been a veteran team. They have tons of elite players. They're a better team, at least on paper, than the Proxen. But it's the fact that No Regard, they struggle to score points when they need to score points, and they struggle to get stops when they need to make stops. And it's the same kind of rinse repeat formula that they've had the last couple of years.
Same thing every year. They have the same issues
Yeah,
every year.
yeah.
They have, it's the same thing. No Regard. It's like to the point where No Regard. I felt like No Regard needed division, not intermediate because I think it would be too easy for them. Not competitive, so I think it's gonna be too hard.
Between.
Something in the middle of there, where and then you add teams in that situation. I think that would be perfect to them. It's like saying not Division 1, not Division 2, but Division 1.5. I think that would be perfect for them.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. And listen, like sorry, go.
No, go ahead, go.
I was gonna say, like, I was thinking about it this morning, on the way to work, because like, I'm thinking about, okay, what are we gonna talk about on the podcast? I try to go through each division, and I try to make comps, right? I'm like, who does No Regard remind me of? And I feel like they're the Jets, to be honest with you. like the Jets have some talented players, and no regard definitely guys like Sanders, Kenny Bay, right? Yeah, Ryan Perry, I believe. I think Ryan Perry's the captain of the team. My homie Terry, Jordan Terrell's played a couple games. They have a lot of subs actually on the team as well. Which also Kendall, I think I'm sorry, it's Kendall's team actually. My bad. But then the Jets have like talented players on their roster, right? Like, and they're not bums. I mean, these guys are playing in the NFL at the highest level, and this is the best flag league in the world, right? So I'm not saying any of these guys are bums because they're not. Like, they're all really good players. But I'm looking at it, I'm just like every year is the same thing.
Yeah.
It's yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, the Jets are 3-13 this year, but I'll tell you what, like no regard if they have 3 wins, I'd be shocked this year. Like I'm just trying to do a comparison in terms of the roster, right? I mean, okay, you have Brees Hall on the Jets, you have Garrett Wilson on the Jets. Okay, they traded away Quentin Williams, they traded away Sauce Gardner, but there's still some other talented players on this Jets team, and it's just like it's the same thing with no regard. Like I mean, you look at it, like a Jermaine Johnson defensive end, you have kind of something going on around a couple of tackle players. But there's talented players on the Jets and there's talented players on no regard, but he can never seem to put it all together when it matters most and to start to make some noise and get some victories. I remember this time last year, in the regard, ended up with 1 win, either in the winter or the spring season. I can't remember which one it was. My apologies, but I think they had 1 win, and it's against KGP, who also missed the playoffs, and they sat a bunch of guys didn't come to the games. I mean, it's like the hamster on the wheel that keeps on going around and around. I feel with this team,
Yeah.
good dudes, great players, but they can't win anything.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna have to change something. I don't know what exactly, but something's definitely gonna have to change. Especially if they want to compete in the highest division. My game of the
Yeah,
week.
but sorry, but do you honestly? Because I know you said before about 1B or 1.5. You honestly think they would dominate? Like they dominate intermediate?
Yeah, I think they would dominate intermediate. I think they would out athletic. I don't think that's even a word, but I think they'll.
Yeah,
I
may
think
as well be. Might
they
as
would. They
well.
would be. They would be more athletic than everybody else.
Yeah, but that doesn't always get you wins, though, right?
That's definitely gonna get you wins. And 5v5 is
It'll
definitely
get
it's
you
the point
some in
where
championships. I'm talking about.
in this division, yeah, I think they
Mhm.
would probably maybe struggle with Team Quebec 18, but it's to a point where like I don't see anyone bodying Sanders. I don't see
Yeah,
anyone
yeah, that's true. That is true.
stopping
That is true.
certain players. Like, and they're physical. Don't get me wrong. No regards, it's a physical team.
Oh yeah,
Like
oh yeah.
you're gonna
I
take a
love that
couple.
about
You're
them.
gonna take, you're gonna take a couple hits. A lot of these guys are intermediate. When you have these young kids, like it's still kind of scary when you have these big guys at you. I don't care who you are.
You see Ryan Perry running at you, you're gonna duck.
Exactly.
No, I hear you for sure. Yeah,
Like I don't. I
yeah.
think to be honest, the only team that would challenge them is Team Quebec U18, and I think they would beat them just on their athleticism.
Athleticism.
Yeah, I think they would get because you have all these guys that played the higher level, right? So looking at no regards, if you're looking at the roster that's usually present, I would like to say that's usually there because they do get a lot of subs. Other than the quarterback, right? So you have Ryan Perry, you have Sanders, you have Kenny Bay, you have Kendall Miles, you have Zachary Alexi, you have Terry, you have
Yeah,
Joey, and you have Jordan. Like all these guys played at a very high level in FPF or just in tackle or anything around those levels. They know what to do. They know how to win. They know what to do. They know how to win games. It's just they're playing against talent that's way better than them, especially in 5v5, you have to know what you're doing in 5v5. When they have a quarterback that's not a 5v5 quarterback, they're in a huge disadvantage. Then they have a defense where it's to a point where they're playing versus teams that have schemes to beat defenses that don't really know what they're doing. So
right. I hear you. I hear you.
when
I don't
you
know. I just think to like a team like Red Zone, right? In B with like Marvin Renault, Alessi Dubois, Marc Andre and that. Yeah. Okay. Physically, no regards to dominate those guys, but it would be close. They have some athletes. Victor Boutin, those guys, they're no
yeah,
joke, right?
but
I mean,
I don't
I'm the
I
same.
don't think Mark is the same quarterback without the running aspect. That's my only issue with Mark.
Right, right. Yeah, you've
And I
said that
think
before. That's
sometimes
true. That is
And I
true.
and I still sometimes I think when they do that quarterback thing, I think that kind of messes up your play calling a bit. But that's my only
Yeah.
issue with Marc Andrees. I think his legs. his legs is it's who he is, right? So if you take away his
Right.
that ability, I think that's where he kind of struggles. I don't think Norgard is gonna blow them up. I don't think they're gonna blow them out, but I think they win comfortably.
Okay. Look, interesting to see. Be interesting to see. Maybe see Norgard drop down, maybe a division or something, and
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
see.
But then it's the point where then you have guys like us where they drop down, they go 9-1, and then we start calling them division
No,
dodgers.
no, 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 no. That's not division dodging. That's totally different. That's not division dodging. That's a
You
team
know,
dropping down because they're getting their butts
if you
kicked.
if you
No
look,
regards, been like the bottom of the division,
yeah,
Division
but
One. Yeah, this
you
division
didn't
as well forever.
if you didn't see no regard, let's say no regard was intermittent this year, right? And there's it started 5-0. Wouldn't you be like, nah, they should be competitive? Because I would say that. Because I would be like, no, why you guys are
Okay, you can make that argument. You can make the argument 100%. But we've seen they get smoked in Division One every year. No offense to these guys. Again, I'm friends with some of these guys on the team, but they get smoked in Division One, and in co-ed one right now. So not co-ed one, in this an intermediate. Sorry,
no, no,
competitive. My apologies. In competitive, they're getting beat down right now. So them I can understand making the drop. It's not as if they avoided Division One and competitive forever, like another team we like to talk about, except for 1 year maybe, and then just staying in the lower of the two divisions. No, this is a team who has been in the top divisions, hasn't worked out well for multiple seasons. Now it makes sense to drop down.
yeah, but didn't you see what Norgard did the season before? Not the season that just passed the season before when they beat Flag One in the playoffs.
Yeah, okay, and did they win a
But
championship?
to be honest, they did have Miles Gibbons, so it is a bit
Mm-hmm.
different compared to him and
Yeah.
the other guys back. But I mean, if you have
But yeah,
Miles,
with the quarterback they
you know,
have now, yeah, okay. If you have Miles, then no, they should be a higher division. But even with Miles, they still been getting skunked.
no, they did struggle, but they ended up winning a playoff game when it mattered.
True, true. And any given Sunday, right? As the movie says, right? Any given Sunday. Same thing
Yeah,
with FPF. And any given day, you can beat a team. I'm just saying, with the quarterback they have now, and with the track record that they have, at least this season and last, like I don't know, maybe them dropping on the intermediate. Would it be fair for all the intermediate teams? No, it wouldn't. If you could beef up intermediate a little bit, then I think a team like No Regard should maybe go down there because again, sitting where they're sitting now. I mean, they've been in some games, but I mean, look at their record, right? They're 0-5. Look at the schedule. Are they going to beat the Party Crashers? No. They play the Party Crashers
no,
back to
they're
back.
definitely
That's
not
two
going to win.
losses right there.
They're not going to win any games, but I just think intermediate. I think they blow out teams like Le Benchwarmers blow out, Hungry Hippos blow out, Team Quebec, U16 blowout, Red Zone blowout, Green Monsters blowout.
I don't
Probably,
know about a blowout against Red Zone. I don't know.
I think
Green
it's.
Monster, yes.
I
Team
think
Quebec
it's gonna be
U16,
sorry.
yes.
When I mean blowout, I mean a double-digit score. So they're gonna win. Let's just say like 30-18. So two scores
Okay.
as blow, not like 47 to like 10.
They should win by that much. But again, with Miles Gibbons at quarterback, I could say, okay, 100%, I guess. But I mean, now with the quarterback now, with Zach Deschamps, okay, he has 10 TDs and 7 INTs right now. Would he have a better stats in intermediate? Of course he would. But would he be like head and shoulders above all the other quarterbacks in that division? No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all, to be honest with
Well,
you.
yes and no, because the thing is, you have to realize, okay, men's competitive 5v5, you're still playing mostly the top of the tops. Like you're not playing
Yeah,
versus
yeah,
badass. You're playing versus like
that's true.
if you take these if you take these 9 teams, right? Let's take away Blue Dry because they're not really they're new, and then the
Mhm.
Proxen. If you take away those 2 teams, right? So you have KGP Elite, you still have pretty much top of the top athletes. Flag Moi, top athletes, Raw Dogs, Braves, Montreal Match, Park Crashers. If you take all these teams and you bring them to nationals, these are top 10 teams in Canada. You're not
Yeah,
playing
true. Very
versus
true. Very true. Very true. Very true.
you're playing top tier teams. So like yeah, no regard, you guys are struggling on offense and with a new quarterback as well. But you're playing versus teams that literally travel to play. Party Crashers travel. Montreal Magic travel. Braves travel. Raw Dogs travel. Flag One doesn't travel, but their core is always the same. KGP travels and they win. They're not like
Yeah.
their team. These teams are losing. These teams are beating teams in the U.S. They're beating teams outside of Canada, inside Canada. Like they're making names for themselves. So it's like, yes, I understand why Norgard comes in. They're the only team that kind of just like it's a bunch of guys that played with each other, used to be really good athletes, and they just kind of merged together. And they're like, oh hey,
too.
here's a quarterback for you guys that's pretty good in CJIP. Let him, and like you're gonna play versus the top 10 defenses in Canada, which you're playing a 5v5 format, which is completely different. You don't have those easy comebacks where you're playing on the big field. So
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. So you're not wrong. But I'm saying you're playing against an Nebraska team, who's just a bunch of former collegiate university guys. Blue Dry, most of these guys. Well, Yan Desjardins played the university ball. I'm not sure about too many of the other guys, but I mean, not every single team in that division is ex U Sport or collegiate guys or travel for flag. But I mean, yeah, again, his numbers are what they are. The quarterback talking about obviously for no regard and Zachary Deschamps, I believe his name is. They're like that because of the division. Yeah, Zachary Deschamps because of the division that he plays in, and yeah, they'll get a boost in intermediate for sure. I just don't think like 10 TDs and seven INTs. I don't think it would be 17 touchdowns and zero INTs if he's in intermediate.
I don't, but I think it's gonna be his number is gonna be so much better. I'm telling you, when you play
Yeah,
versus again the teams that you play against 5v5 is crazy. Like
yeah,
not to a point where these guys were not everyone's amazing, but everyone's it's top defenses you're playing against. You're not
yeah.
like
No, for sure,
if
100%,
I'm looking down,
100%.
like, I'm not gonna compare Naproxen and Blue Dry because they're new and they're kind of Blue Dry is new and Naproxen is a bunch of guys just kind of just put together. But
Mhm.
KGP's defense is good. FlagPlus defense is probably the only defense that's not as good. Raw Dogs have a good defense. Braves have a good defense. Party Crouches has amazing defense, and then Montreal Magic has a good defense. And it's like guys have been playing like this for the past couple of years now.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm just saying, like the weapons he has, playing against some of those top teams, I expected better than the kind of like a 500 record in terms of TDs to INTs. But again, it's a hard position quarterback. It's a hardest position in sports. And this is, believe this is a kind of his first go around because usually it is Miles Gibbon throwing to for no regard. Anyways, they're in competitive. They're going to stay competitive the rest of the season. We'll see what happens. If in the future they try to drop down to intermediate, if intermediate gets again, like I said earlier, if you beef it up a little bit, I'm just saying maybe it's an option for these guys if they stick with a young quarterback like Zach Deshaun, who again will get better by playing these games against these better teams. But right now they're sitting at 0-5, and most likely, I hope not. I really hope not. But 0-10 is a real reality for these guys. Hope it doesn't happen,
Yeah,
but
they're the only game they'll win is Blue Drive 10.0, and that's going to be April 4th. If they're going to win a game, that's the only game they're going to win.
and
So
that's not a given. Like that's definitely not a given. I think Blue
no,
Dry heading into
exactly.
that game is actually
Blue
the
Drive,
favorites. To be honest.
Blue Drive is a good team. They actually surprised me, to be honest with you. They're a good team, and they're going to get better. So if Norgard is going to try to come in there thinking, oh, they're not a good team, they'll get blown out. So
Yeah. All right. I think that does it for all the divisions. Which obviously since we've had the women's division and co-ed. I don't know if anyone had a chance to watch. Obviously, by the time this airs, it'll be a couple of days in the past now. For me, for us, right now, we're Friday. I watched the gold medal game. Actually, I was watching it at work. The kids in my class, I had put on the smart board. We were watching Team Canada, Team USA women's hockey gold medal game. Canada was like 2 minutes away from getting that W, getting that gold medal, and then Team USA tied it. And then Team USA was definitely the better team in overtime, so they won it 2-1 in OT, making Keller getting the game-winning goal. I know we said last week I haven't watched that much Olympics. This week I've made an effort to watch a bit more. Again, most of the stuff I want to watch happens when I'm at work. But I know this Sunday, the 22nd, is Team Canada, who won today. They knocked off, I believe it was Sweden or Finland. I can't remember who it was. Team Canada, Team USA in the men's gold medal game coming up Sunday. So I'm super excited to watch that. That's one of the highlights for me of the Winter Olympics is watching men's hockey and women's hockey as well. So that's going to be huge. Canada's won a couple more goals since the last time you guys saw Quaysie and I. So shout out to our country's athletes. And obviously, we're counting down the months to 2028, pardon me. Hopefully, we could add a couple more gold medals courtesy of some players here in FPF.
yes, sir.
All right. Any final thoughts? Anything else?
No. Good luck to all the teams that are playing this week.
Mm-hmm.
Stay healthy, ball out, get some wins, and enjoy your weekend.
All right. This has been the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm Brent. He's Quaysie. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Instagram, Facebook, everywhere else. Omar, anything else? Am I leaving out here? We're good, Omar? All right. See you guys later.
Peace.